This is Gene Montrastelli. Welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 281, originally aired August 16th, 2017. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today, we're going to spend a little time talking about and tapping for the really difficult emotion of dread. Before we do that, a couple of quick announcements. First of all, in November, I'm going to be part of a team of 5 speakers speaking at an event called Uncomplicate Your Relationship with Money. It is a great tapping event. It is 2 days. It is in Orlando, Florida. More details to come, but full details on a website can be found at tappingqna.com/money. That's tappingqna.com/money. If you're listening to this in the website, there is a link near the player. If you are listening to this in some sort of smartphone or tablet device, if you go into the show notes, there is a link that says Uncomplicate Your Relationship with Money, so you can participate. Second, if you would like to be a supporter of the podcast, we love our supporters. You can do that by going to tappingqna.com/support. That link can be found in the exact same place. And finally, if you haven't done so, make sure you're checking out the Tapping Q&A podcast archive. Just go to tappingqnapodcast.com. I just took a quick look over there, not including today's episode. Before today, there are 344 audios in that library, from full episodes, bonus episodes, instructions, live event recordings, tap-along audios. It is all sitting there for you. That is over 154 hours of free tapping content that is just waiting for you. The nice thing is you don't have to listen to all of it. That's overwhelming. But if you step into the library and you just go through it, you're going to find either someone you want to hear from or a topic that you want to hear. We have covered it somewhere in our previous 344 episodes. All you need to do is go to tappingqnapodcast.com. tappingqnapodcast.com. So today, we're going to spend some time tapping for the emotion of dread. And where this came about, Tuesday evening, I was getting ready to go to bed. And I was laying in bed, and I just felt horrible. Like there was this, my body just ached. And not a physical ache like I worked out, but this emotional ache and a grossness. And I tuned into it, and it was just this looming, overwhelming sense of dread. And I couldn't figure it out. I had a great day. I had a good friend from high school who's in town visiting me. We just had a great dinner out. Life is really good. I saw my family this weekend. And then I realized, oh, yeah, right before I got into bed, on my phone, I spent about 15 minutes reading the news. And as I saw all that was going on around me, there was just this sense of hurt and ache and overwhelm. And so what I did is I tapped for that. And the tapping you're about to hear was recorded Tuesday night. I basically just got out of bed, stepped over here into my office, fired up the podcast studio, and did a little recording. A couple of things. One, it's this audio and the accompanying tapping script, which you can find at tappingqnapodcast.com, episode 281, is not specific. I don't talk about any of the details about what is causing dread for me. Because of that, it's accessible, so you can use that at any time. If you happen to be feeling dread today or at some point in the future, make a mental note of it, come back to it. It's sitting here waiting for you to use whenever you want. The second thing is that because it was just recorded on the spot, there's a couple of places where I kind of stumble over my words. I just wanted to capture the tapping in the moment so you have a sense of how I'm doing it in a very imperfect way. Just because I'm a tapping professional doesn't mean that I tap perfectly every time or any time for that matter. So I've captured that. So here is me, and just because I'm recording this in the same spot with the same microphone, with the same setup, it might even sound like it just transitions perfectly and all of a sudden we start tapping. But here is my tapping from Tuesday night around dread. There is a deep feeling of dread that is encompassing my entire body. And because it is dread, there is no specific focal point. There is no specific place it lives in my body. There is no epicenter to the pain. And even when I have a sense of what the dread is, and what's it about, I don't know what that is in detail. Which makes tapping for this emotion really hard. And I give myself permission to know it's okay to tap. It is effective to tap. Even when I don't know exactly what I'm focusing on. Because of what is going on around me. And because there are things outside of my control, my system is feeling a sense of dread. It's feeling a sense of hopelessness. That things are bad or are going to continue to be bad or are going to get worse. I appreciate the fact my system is pointing this out. I am fully aware of what is going wrong. I'm fully aware of what might go wrong. And so my system's done its job. I give the dread permission to release. Because I am aware of what it is trying to point out. Letting go of the dread is not saying the current situation is okay. Letting go of the dread is not me giving up my power to take action. Letting go of the dread is not giving up. Instead, by releasing the dread, it puts me in a position to take action. It puts me in a position to move forward. It allows me to regain my control. Not control over everything, but control over me. Control over the small actions I can take. Control over the kindness I can share. Control over being able to be present in this moment. Not ignoring what is going on, but instead not being debilitated by what is going on. Even when it feels hopeless. Even when it feels overwhelming. I give myself permission to allow myself to move forward. In this moment, being a positive agent of change. That does not mean it is easy. That does not mean it is fun. That does not mean it is pain-free. It means that I am in a situation where I can control this moment. In controlling how I respond. I am glad my system recognizes things that are troubling. I appreciate my system is pointing out things that feel difficult to overcome. The dread has done its job. It can release. It can let go. So I can move forward. If you did tap along to that right now, I would just encourage you to take a nice big deep breath and just reground yourself back into your body. I hope that was useful. I know it was really useful for me the other night, and it helped me to get to bed very, very quickly. That doesn't mean that today, Wednesday, when I woke up, that sense of dread still isn't popping up from time to time, and that doesn't mean that dread's not going to ever return again. Dread is this emotion of hopelessness, of overwhelm, of lack of control. And I am certain that there are going to be things in the world that make me feel that way again, but it's nice to know that I can come back to something like this. If you are listening to this in the website, below the audio player, you'll actually see a tapping script. If you are a person who likes tapping scripts more than you like tapping audios, because some of us read and process it in a better way than having to listen to an audio like this, I really encourage you to go to tappingqandapodcast.com, and there you will find a link to download the Tapping Q&A app, which is absolutely free. It has all of the podcasts, so all 345, now including this audios, available there. But it also has a section. If you click on the text section, it's going to take you to all of the posts that just have tapping scripts. There's over 20 of them there. We keep adding more all of the time because of the very generous support of the supporters of the Tapping Q&A podcast. You can become one of those at tappingqa.com/support. And it's just a way for you to have access to it anywhere. So you don't need to be connected to the internet, because once it's on your phone, it's there forever. It's free of charge. tappingqandapodcast.com. Click on the link. Like I said, 345 audios just sitting there waiting at that website as well for you to go back. If there's someone in your life who you know could use some tapping right now because they happen to be consumed by this sense of dread, it would mean the world to me if you could be our ambassador and pass this along to them. You don't spam your inbox, don't send it to everybody in the world. But if you know someone, or two someones, or three someones who might be feeling really overwhelmed right now, do a favor. Pass it along. If you're able to release that hopelessness from them, they also will be able to make good positive actions and steps where they are today. As always, questions and comments can be directed to me at gene@tappingqna.com. If you're listening in the website, up above, you'll see a contact link. If you are listening in the app, you can go and you can click on the contact button, both on the contact page and inside the app. You have the option of leaving both an email, or you can even leave me a voice message. I don't play those for anyone else, but it's useful for me when crafting new content in the future. I would love to hear what you're thinking and how I can be helpful. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrestelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrestelli, Tapping Q&A 2016. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrestelli or Tapping Q&A.